So welcome, time for a new video update. I got some questions how I draw my levels, so let's for this time just start with the naked chart on the daily and mark out some levels. So our all-time high was this, that got taken out with that strong push, which means a lot of liquidity got taken right there. Then I always mark out just obvious levels, like this is another liquidity level. Why is the liquidity level? Because everyone who is longing here probably has their stop here, or here, or here. But the most people, this is where you take all the liquidity, because people are always greedy, so they use the tightest stop as possible. But if you take out this low, then you have all of them. So that's an important liquidity level, also because we have a big imbalance above it. So price always loves to take that out eventually. Then here we got another level. I think if we go a little bit lower time frame, right here, can see it clear, a good looking demand zone. And then this is like an important level. So these are the high time frame. Then I just zoom in. Put it back, or it's okay. Then here we took liquidity. We now know that, so that's important. Then we had a high here. We broke lower. Here we have left supply behind, so just mark that supply out. Supply right there. This was our liquidity level. What I see is that we have this low, and this low still untaken. So let's call that a liquidity trail. And right here, zoom in some more. Here I see the top of the demand that got already tapped, but I know that the lower level did not get tapped yet. If we look at this level, then here you can just see kind of a horizontal level. Let's make that just here, in which you can see that here we broke structure down. So if I look at the 4-hour structure, I see this lower high. Here we broke down. It was last week. Then we made a new low, and right now we are not showing a lot of strength. So what I'm expecting is that we go down from here, or we go a little higher and then go down. Why does it not look strong to me? Because if we look at the 1 hour, for example, this 4-hour structure has a pretty clean. But if you look at how price moves up here, that does not look strong, because we are leaving liquidity behind at the lows here, and this does not look strong to me. So then we can zoom in some more, quickly marking out this 1 hour demand, because we did not tap that. We tapped the higher time frame from here. I always mark it out with like here. Here we tapped it, but that's the high time overlap. So we still have demand lower. That's also weakened liquidity. Price always loves to take it out. So then, we have this chart. Here we had consolidation. Here we had a fake breakout. Now we are back in the range. To become bullish, we need to break back above this supply. Then we can aim for the highs again. Otherwise, I'm expecting a move to this demand lower, right here. And as I just showed on the high time frame, it will be pretty healthy for price to move into this, partly tap into that big imbalance we have. Here we have another demand zone. So lower seems likely to me, unless we reclaim some important levels. So then we can zoom in some more and look at this week's price action. So this Saturday we had this low, and since then we started to move up. As you know, I always like to use statistics. So let me quickly look if I can still get those statistics in. Right here. Hopefully in the video it's visible, otherwise I will throw this away. Nobody sees it ever, but let's see. So if we look at statistics, we can, because now it's Wednesday, we can look at what are the weekly statistics saying. So this is our Monday's low, which is our weekly low. weekly low. Let's make it a bit bigger. And this is our high that we made yesterday, which is the Tuesday high. Let's call it weekly. Weekly high, right there. Not that. So now we know statistics. This is our weekly low. This is our weekly high. Oftentimes the weekly low or weekly high gets formed either on Monday or on Tuesday. So now it's going to be important which one is going to get taken out. Because now it's Wednesday. We can also just range today. But the next level, which either today or tomorrow is going to be taken out, will tell a lot about the rest of the week. Which means that if we, for example, move up here and take out our weekly high, not high week, that's got in weekly high. If we take out the high from here, then statistically spoken, our weekly low becomes very strong, and then upside is much more likely. So then we can make our way towards this supply zone, but maybe we get a pullback from that supply, but then higher for the week is likely. On the other hand, if we break lower, so if we first push down here and take out the weekly low, then this weekly low becomes very weak, this weekly high becomes very strong, and then it's very likely for price to make new lows later in the week. So what's going to happen today or the next 2 days is going to be important. So what I have is an alert at the weekly high and at the low, and see what is going to happen. For now, if we zoom in a bit more, yesterday I anticipated a potential drop because the 12-hour supply started here, but we have more refined supply resting above here. But since this last push up was so aggressive, there was no structure to confirm a short entry for me. And that is still not the case, because if we look at the structure, this is our structure. So technically, unless you break this low, called break structure level, you are trending up. So right now we are nearing that level, and I believe that is also our, where's our daily low? Okay, our daily low already got taken out. Interesting. If we break below this level, then we have a confirmed break structure, because we broke this move. And then to me, lower here becomes likely that we take out the weekly low, in which our statistics show that lower prices are much more likely for the week. For the bullish case, yeah, to me it looks pretty weak, and I'm leaning more towards this already being our high. So my plan for the New York Open, which is in a few hours, or New York session has just started, which you can see here, is always an important level. So what I'm looking is to look more for short triggers. So I'm gonna put this as a liquidity level. What I then want to see is that, let's see if we have some untapped supply levels anywhere. Not really. Hourly, we tapped in this one already. Just a tiny bit, it seems. Supply. So let's zoom in. Yeah, we tapped just by tiny hair into it, but I'm still looking at potential short setup. So what will that be for me? Let's look in the next few hours till from here till around 15 UTC, and see what we get. If we break lower from here, then I will be looking for a high and then short it from there to lower. Best case, we take out this liquidity on the New York Open pump and then look for shorts. But overall, I'm looking for shorts, but I always need my setup. So I always play ranges. Right now, I don't see a range to play. So the only thing I then get involved is if we get like an obvious liquidity sweep higher than local breaker structure, then look for shorts. or look for a breakdown lower, retest, and then short that retest. Beside that, I don't really see a setup on Bitcoin here yet. Preferably we take that high and then go down. For the long way, for longs I'm only interested in if we at least take out that weekend liquidity, which is this level right here. From there we could potentially draw a new range in which, let's clean it up, this becomes one new range, and then look for accumulations like that. But overall, as I just said, these lows look pretty obvious to me to take out, until proven otherwise. Of course, if we start to push above that supply or into that supply, as I just said, if we take out this weekly high, then I'm gonna switch to bullish, because then higher for the rest of the week seems very likely. We can have a quick look at the pivot zones for the weekly to see if we are bullish. So the weekly low or high often gets put in early in the week. So as I just said, either this is the weekly low if we have a bullish week. Most likely, it's always statistics, so the odds are in favor, but you never know, it can always play out differently. And this could be a high, which means that if we have a bullish week and this was our low, and we start breaking above here, then you can at least expect a move towards 110k, which is then we invalidate this supply block, go to the highs, and then new all-time highs are not that far off the table. So that's a good thing to note. If we start breaking our structure right here, boom, break lower, then it's likely that this is our weekly high, and then for the rest of the week it's likely that we at least make our way to the lower part, because in 80% of the weeks, if you have a bullish week, you tap into this level. If you have a bearish week, you tap into this level. Just data of the last 5 or 8 years, so nothing magical about that. And then if we look what aligns with our weekly P1 level, this liquidity I talked about. So if we are bearish, we can target this for the rest of the week. If we become bullish, we can expect this liquidity level to be taken. So that's interesting to know. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's quickly see if statistics tell us anything yet. Bitcoin daily, weekly. Yeah, I think for the daily, what are the stats saying? Yeah, not much. We are very tight. We have very tight price action. So what's gonna happen in New York is gonna be interesting. Then quickly going over some other charts. ETH is in this range. We had a nice little range here. We broke up, and right now we could move into supply right here. ETH is holding much stronger compared to the rest, so this is an area where I'm gonna look for shorts, but it needs to have clean triggers. This is the first year we had liquidity trail that got fully filled. If we take out this liquidity, maybe if we get like a distribution right here into this supply and then break down, that could be a nice little extra confluence to look for shorts. But overall, ETH looks better, and there are better coins to look for shorts. Then go to TAO. I shared this a few weeks back that my POI was in this demand zone, because this was our point of control of the level that we where we broke out from. So oftentimes price likes to retest those levels, and since our range highs here are not hit yet, that's eventually a target. And then if we zoom in, we potentially have a nice Wyckoff Model 2 here with our 1, R2 and then potentially R3 right here. I wanted to get in, or at least I expected, which I shared yesterday on Twitter, to see a Model 1. We got that, but it was during the night. I was already asleep, so I did not get in. I could have entered here or here or here, but I don't feel like chasing price, so I'm just gonna wait. A PY for me is this demand zone right here. Some nice demand. Here we have an imbalance above it. Here people use this as their stop loss. So liquidity, we have confluence with this OTE level. So what I would like to see is that we come into this level and then during New York form a strong low. Then I'm willing to take a long and still use this as my invalidation, or this one, because our daily low, that's also a pretty interesting statistic. Our daily low is this one, this candle. But if we look at the daily candle, it almost has no wick to the downside. So in 97.5% of the wicks are bigger than the current wick. So this is our daily wick, which is very tiny. And price doesn't like to have those tiny wicks. So in 97.5% of the days, price takes out that wick, or at least it creates a bigger wick before we move up. So keep that in mind, that's here. So we can sweep that, then that wick is taken out, then we can move up, and then I feel more safe to long. So I'm just going to be patient. There are always enough opportunities and setups, so don't chase it, don't chase the market. See it just as that there are always enough opportunities. Quickly go to Sol. Sol had this range, then we broke down. Here you could say, is this a potential deviation, and then we reclaim the range and then move up to the highs again? Could be the case, but yesterday we did an attempt to break into it, then we swept the high here, seller stepped in, and then we also broke 1 hour structure back to bearish. So overall I'm interested in a potential short, because here we had our structure, here we made a new high, and here we broke structure back to bearish. So our expectation could be that we move up into this supply, where we also have a big imbalance, form lower high, go for that. This is also a weekend liquidity, go for that weekend liquidity, and then look for longs from this demand. That's what I'm looking at mostly, so I have an alert right there. But what could be the case, what I was looking, is that Solana has the daily low right here, which is a pretty good low based on time statistics. And price started moving up aggressively, so we have demand right above. So if we today get a little relief, then Solana is one of the coins that I'm looking at. Potentially look for a little accumulation here, create a low, take a long, and switch that into a short right here. But yeah, structure is not looking too good, but if there was a coin I would look for longs, then it would be Solana for today. SUI, yesterday I shared in the video I was interested in short. I want to short it a little higher, did not get it, and right now it's looking more healthy. Let's just clean it up. As I said yesterday, you have this clean downtrend, and then this looked weak just in a bounce. Like this is just a continuation of the trend, and not like a low does not get formed like this. If we zoom in a bit more, it takes experience to know that, yeah, this is just not a good low. So eventually we distributed here, never got the entry, but right now I'm looking for at least a good range formation, because you always form a range before to make a good bottom. If you don't have a range formation, then it's not a good bottom. So let's see if we can tap into this, accumulate there, or go lower, because on the high time frame this is a very huge level from which we may start to distribute. Then an alert, Sol, breaking lower probably. Yeah. Okay, so interesting. And that was it for today. Yeah, let's keep this out of the way. Let me know in the comments if you are interested also in gold and euro analysis. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep it like this. Let's close it off with a quick overview. What is the statistics saying? Current week still bull, daily still bull, some bear. Yeah, nothing too interesting. So yeah, that was the video for today. So overall, I'm looking for short triggers on Bitcoin. Also looking for shorts on ETH if we push into this supply. TAO potential longs, but I need clear triggers. Solana potential longs in this demand, but main idea is to look for shorts around here. And yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Then I'm here to help. So that was it, and cheers.